What is good? What is up? It's Jordan or Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another video by y'all's demand. Today, we're going to be making the case for Eric Bieniemy as the Texans' next head coach. And if you're not a Texans fan, but need a head coach, this is still going to be an informative video. So I'll give y'all my reasons for why Bieniemy should be the guy. I'll kind of defend the reasons against him, and I'll finish with breaking down some plays from the Chiefs offense that really just helps to show why he is the top quote-unquote offensive guy available. So if you enjoy the video and if you want more of these types of videos, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on Eric Bieniemy and maybe your favorite head coach candidate as well. Alright, let's get into the video. So why Eric Bieniemy? Well, there's a reason why EB has been the top potential candidate for 2 years in a row now. That's not just some fluke. As we know, the Chiefs offense has been tearing apart the league, and take a look at these stats since Bieniemy took over as offensive coordinator in 2018. DVOA, points per game, total yards per game. Whatever you want to look at, the Chiefs are at the top of the league. And the reason why 2019 isn't first like the other years is because Mahomes missed 2 games that year and only played 33% of the snaps in 1 other game. So that's basically that 3-game drop-off is why the Chiefs weren't the #1 offense 3 years in a row. #1, not top 5, not top 10, #1. And that is a historic feat. And those 3 years were the years that Bieniemy was offensive coordinator, right? Is that a coincidence? I think not. So we know he can help run quite literally the best offense in the league. And that transitions to my next point about why we should hire Bieniemy, and that's because we want to build around Deshaun Watson, right? He is the franchise, he is the lone bright spot in this horrible season right now, and we want to keep him happy at all costs. We have to show that we have his best interests in mind. So bringing in this great offensive mind and someone who Watson has endorsed as his guy, that's just a win-win. We can follow in the footsteps of recent teams who made the Super Bowl with a young quarterback, like the Rams when they added Sean McVay to elevate Jared Goff, and of course, Bieniemy became the offensive coordinator as Mahomes officially became the starter in 2018. For too long now, we've made Watson's job way too hard on him. Never mind the players around him. But he's been constantly held back by porous coaching. But who has glowing reviews? Eric Bieniemy. The man has been heavily vouched for by the 2 most important men on the Chiefs, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They talk about how he's ready for the moment, how he's a great leader of men, how he's detail-oriented, and how much he's helped Mahomes improve as a player. With Bieniemy, we'd be prioritizing Watson and prioritizing an unstoppable offense to keep up with the Chiefs of the world. To get to the Super Bowl, we need to go through Mahomes and the Chiefs. And what better guy to help us beat them than Reid's right-hand man? And speaking of which, Bieniemy's Super Bowl experience has to be something I bring up, because its value cannot be understated. He knows what it takes to win at the highest level, and has already faced that adversity. Our ultimate goal as a franchise has to be the Super Bowl. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of celebrating AFC South divisional titles. Cool, yeah, we can make it to the playoffs, but we haven't been able to finish the job. You look at the other top offensive candidates, Joe Brady, Brian Daboll, is Lincoln Riley even still in consideration? But none of them have sniffed the Super Bowl. Bieniemy is already the finished product. Sure, a guy like Joe Brady is younger and maybe the flashier higher, but you know what you're getting with Bieniemy? He has 3 years of running the top offense in the entire NFL and 13 years of overall experience, working his way up and climbing the ladder to the top. From being a running back coach with the Vikings in 2006 to now being the top head coach candidate 2 years in a row, and he is very deserving of the head coaching title. Now, Bieniemy's seen it all, and that experience is invaluable. Experience is how you learn from your mistakes. The more and more defenses and defensive adjustments you see in the league over the years, the better you are at making your own offensive adjustments. And I'm really excited to break down his film. I'll have a few plays in this video, like I said, and then I'll likely dedicate a full entire film breakdown to his entire scheme, breaking it down and how it would fit with Watson and the personnel that we got. So be on the lookout for that. It'll probably come later in the season or even the off season. But moving on, I gave y'all really kind of like the major reasons why Bieniemy should be the next Houston Texans head coach. If you have more, leave it in the comments below. I'm sure I probably missed something. But he, like every other potential candidate, he has his warts. I'm not going to lie. You aren't going to find a perfect candidate this year, or really any year. There's always something to cherry pick about, and based off those perceived weaknesses, I'm going to kind of defend them and tell you why Bieniemy is still a great choice. So a big reason against Bieniemy is that he's had so much talent to work with. His 3 years as offensive coordinator coincide perfectly with Mahomes' ascension into the star that he is. Yes, Bieniemy was given a Ferrari to work with. Hell, he had some Lambos, Bugattis, and Bentleys too. But even if you're given the Ferrari, you still gotta be able to drive it, right? And the Chiefs know how to put their players in positions to succeed. You watch a Chiefs game, and the closest defenders to their weapons are in the damn stands. So yes, Bieniemy has talent to work with, but let's not act like the Texans don't either. We've got the most important position in Watson. You put Watson in the Chiefs offense, you get the same results, if not better. Now, I'm not saying Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb, Jordan Akins, and Duke Johnson are the same as Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm not saying that. But these aren't just some scrubs we picked up off the street. You know, we're not dealing with the Jets or the Jaguars' weapons here. Whoever coaches this offense, whether it be Bieniemy or not, has the weapons necessary to run a top-notch offense. However, we've seen firsthand with Tim Kelly, even if you have the talent, you've got to know how to use them and put them in positions of strength to succeed. Hell, I've seen us throwing up fades to smaller receivers like Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller, not utilizing their skill sets properly there. I've seen us only use the athletic Jordan Akins as someone who's running 5-yard stick routes all game. I am tired of our personnel being wasted and not played to their strengths, and I'm sure you are too. And we have evidence showing that Bieniemy knows how to optimize his talent and get them to play at the highest of levels. So we debunked kind of the whole talent issue, right? Now let's talk about maybe the biggest reserve that some have with Bieniemy, and that's the fact that he's working under Andy Reid. No, he is not the architect of Andy Reid's offense. That honor can only go to Andy Reid. However, he is heavily involved in their scheme, and everyone needs to learn from someone. You think Sean McVay's offense is purely Sean McVay? No. He learned from Mike Shanahan, he learned from John Gruden, and many others. So that's why I don't really like the argument that Andy Reid helps Eric Bieniemy, because every one of these aspiring young offensive coordinators, they have to learn from someone, right? However, you read quotes from Andy Reid himself, and he says that Bieniemy is ready for this moment. More specifically, he even says that Eric Bieniemy sits down every week with him and they make the game plan together. It's not just Reid telling Bieniemy what to do. They make the play sheet together. Andy Reid isn't just spoon-feeding the play to Eric Bieniemy and then Eric Bieniemy tells Mahomes. It's a collaborative effort where Bieniemy helps engineer the pool of plays that they picked from anyways. Now, another issue people bring up is that they'll point to the other quote-unquote offensive geniuses to come from the Andy Reid coaching tree. And they'll say, why is Bieniemy any different? You look at guys like Doug Peterson and Matt Nagy, those are the two names that people bring up. But look at Doug Peterson, he had success when the Eagles had talent. Now that Wentz has been horrible, they have no weapons anymore, and the offensive line isn't elite anymore, yeah, the offense is going to be trash. But any coach needs talent to work with. It doesn't matter if you're an offensive guy or a defensive guy. Coaches can only coach so much. They aren't the ones out there on the field catching the ball, making tackles, or blocking guys. You look at Robert Saleh, the top defensive-minded head coach candidate. His defense is elite when his guys are healthy. When they're not, like this season, not so much. So it's going to be the same thing with offensive guys. Doug Peterson, Matt Nagy too. Who the hell is going to save that Bears offense from Mitch Trubisky? Who? But like I said before, the Texans already have talent on the roster. Are they perfect? No, definitely not. But Watson is better than Trubisky and Wentz. Our wide receiver core is better than the Eagles and the Bears. And our offensive line has 2 stud tackles, plus a promising left guard in Sharping. We get a nice offensive line coach, and they can be a much better unit in my opinion. My point here is that you shouldn't hold Doug Peterson and Matt Nagy's failures against Eric Bieniemy. Each NFL team has a multitude of variables to consider as to why a head coach has succeeded or failed. It's not fair to Andy Reid, and it's not fair to Eric Bieniemy to just scratch off any more of Reid's offensive geniuses. Bieniemy is a different person from Peterson, and he's a different person from Matt Nagy. He's going to run the team differently, and he's going to have different players to use to his advantage. So I've given y'all my reasons for Bieniemy, and I've even countered the reasons against Bieniemy. Now let's take a quick look at his scheme and why it is so damn effective. So there's a multitude of reasons as to why Bieniemy's scheme is so damn successful, and I'll get into basically every single one of those reasons in a future video. However, for today, I'm just going to focus on the fact that he uses creativity, motion, and misdirection to create easy chunk plays on a regular basis. These clips I'm going to show y'all are all from one game, the Chiefs versus the Ravens this year. So it's also against a top-notch defense, just to show y'all that EB will bring it in these primetime matchups. So let's get into it. The first play, if you watch the game from like the live updates on ESPN or Bleacher Report, you know, if they're just kind of following the box score like that in the play-by-play, it'll tell you that Tyreek Hill got an end around for 22 yards. And you probably think to yourself, well, damn, yeah, it's Tyreek Hill being Tyreek Hill, right? Just faster than everyone on the field. But this is not your typical end around play. First, look at the motion. I think every play I show you today has some motion involved, and that's a staple of Bieniemy's offense. That motion isn't just for no reason though, it's to set up misdirection here with Travis Kelce faking like he's going to block to the right. And look, the Chiefs also have the left guard pull to the right. Linebackers and safeties reading their keys are going to think this is a run to the right. But look at Kelce turn back around and go left. That split step allows him, the wide receivers, and the offensive line to get out in space and make these downfield blocks, to the point where Tyreek Hill goes 20 yards before he's even touched. Anyone can get the end around here and get that yardage. It's not just because of Tyreek Hill's speed. The misdirection sets up great blocking and easy big plays. You want to see some more good usage of motion? I got you. Look at how Tyreek Hill runs in a damn circle to confuse the defense. I mean, this looks like backyard football, but it's really used to manipulate the Ravens' zones. Sending Tyreek to the flat drags down Marlon Humphrey out of his zone, and that opens up space for Travis Kelce over the middle of the field. Every NFL defense is going to respect the player running into the flat. Just a little bit. And look at Kelce. With that extra step of space by Humphrey, he doesn't have to run some crazy route. This one isn't predicated on his speed or elusiveness. He's just that wide open because Bieniemy knows how to manipulate defenses and create easy yardage. This next play might be my favorite, and it's a very creatively set up fake screen. With Hill in the backfield, they create a 2 running back set that the Texans were supposed to use this year and have tons of success with, but I digress. And look at the offensive line. They run out and fake like they're blocking for the screen. The defense bites and leaves the middle of the field wide open. Now look at Travis Kelce. On this play, he's going to block and release, and is yet again just wide open. Any tight end can do this. And yes, you'll see plays where Kelce runs a beautiful route and makes all 18 defenders miss, but you'll also see tons of plays where any tight end can play this role. Any tight end can block, release, run forward, and catch the ball. So while there's talent on the Chiefs, Bieniemy has shown that he can scheme anyone open. He shows that in the end zone here on this shovel pass to the fullback for a 6. He knows that defenses will key in on your star players and uses that against them. Look at 3 defenders go with Hill on the motion. Then the fullback can just settle in this space and wait for the pass, and that's an easy touchdown as you can get. When have we seen creative plays like these? This is just one game, and we've already seen more ingenuity from Bieniemy than we have from Bill O'Brien in damn 7 seasons. One more for y'all, and this one isn't the craziest thing in the world, but I like the route diversity that Bieniemy has in his scheme. Rarely do we see the Texans run double moves when they want to go deep. They just want to rely on our speed and never want to make it easier on the wide receivers. But Bieniemy tries to make it as easy as possible, and this route is damn near unguardable. This here is a triple move. You know, at first, Hill makes it look like a double move, just an out and up, right? So Peters is thinking he's good. He's given himself a good cushion, and he's got Hill covered. But what he doesn't know is that Hill is cutting this route off short. It's an out and up into a comeback. What the hell? That's some shit you draw up on a loose leaf, but for Bieniemy and the Chiefs, it's just a normal Sunday. And give me that for Deshaun and the Texans, please. Alright, that's going to do it for the video. If y'all enjoyed, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Huge shout out to the Texans Thoughts team members. If y'all want to join the team, get some exclusive content and exclusive access to our Discord, hit that join button below. Also, I'll have an article out talking about a potential GM candidate for the Texans and one that could join up with Eric Bieniemy, as that is Mike Borgonzi, the Chiefs' Director of Player Personnel. I'll have an article out about him this week. If it's not already up on TexansUnfiltered.com, make sure to check that out. The link will be in the description. And alright, take care everyone. Come back for more, and remember, the film don't lie.